Michael Perry, you know, one of our big stars here, the King of Violence, he titles himself, and you know, he's had such a rise in the sport. Now he's up against you know, a little dweeb of a thing in a fight this weekend that we're all rooting for him. But you know, this is the real.
Conor McGregor has just crushed Jake Paul in a new game-changing BKFC press conference. The air is thick with tension as Jake Paul versus Mike Perry is finally here, and the Notorious showed no remorse when he unleashed a war of words at the YouTuber turned boxer. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know the blood is as bad as it could be between Jake and Conor, and Mac has just thrown down the gauntlet. He's all like, Jake's a little dweeb of a thing. Of course, Jake, being Jake, had a fiery reaction to this fiasco. Plus, with his fight right around the corner, Jake used this moment to bring in as many eyes as possible. You really don't want to miss Jake's reaction, so keep watching as I break it down for you. All eyes turned as the Notorious stepped into the spotlight at a recent BKFC press conference. McGregor was there to support his teammate Mike Perry. But it quickly became clear that this wasn't just about backing up a friend, he was about to set the stage on fire. McGregor wasted no time. He started firing shots at his longtime enemy, Jake Paul. Look at this little dweeb. You think you're tough? You're a YouTuber playing dress-up. You're fighting one of my guys, and let me tell you, Perry is going to make you eat those words. And don't even think about looking my way, you little fella. You're not on my level. It didn't end here. McGregor wasn't going to let Jake off the hook this easily. This wasn't a spontaneous attack on the former Disney star. Conor and Jake's beef has been brewing for years, and so is the hatred. It won't be long before we see these two step into the ring together to settle the score. Jake has been eyeing McGregor for a long time and has been shouting from the rooftops, begging Mac to fight him. Well, it's safe to say that Jake has poked the bear and he can finally hold his breath on this money grab fight, because Conor's pissed and he wants to teach Jake a lesson in the ring if Mike Perry fails to do so. Now, Conor believes that Mike will give Jake a run for his money in the ring, and he's not wrong. Here's the thing. Mike Perry isn't like any of the opponents Paul has faced in the ring before. This man is an entirely different story. Jake is known for setting up orchestrated charades in the ring where he cherry-picks washed-up and retired NBA players or MMA fighters to share the ring with. Mike Perry's no slouch. The Platinum Princess is a seasoned pro, and that's why McGregor has sent a brutal warning to Jake to not treat this fight lightly, because Perry's got everything he needs to not only pull off an upset, but to absolutely humiliate Jake in the ring. I mean, come on, this man is the bare-knuckle brawler. He's the best in the promotion and has knocked out some of the biggest names in the sport with his brutal punch. Jake has his work cut out for him because he's making the terrible mistake of thinking that this one is going to be a walk in the park. Oh, Jakey, you're in for a surprise. The problem child has been pretty busy with this bout and all the pre-fight festivities, but that didn't stop him from going off at Conor for his comments. Let's just say that Jake is flipping out, and he wants to throw hands at Conor the moment their paths cross. Yeah, the former Disney star is not taking kindly to Conor's comments. The problem child blasted the Notorious, promising that he would beat up Perry, who fights for the BKFC, and expose the whole organization.
Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Jake and Conor going back and forth is nothing new, of course. The bad blood between Paul, the pioneer of celebrity boxing, and McGregor, the biggest ever superstar in the UFC, goes back nearly half a decade and has been going strong ever since. Of course, Jake Paul seemingly took great exception to being called a little dweeb and fired off a heated salvo, calling out the Irishman's alleged substance abuse, lack of discipline, and horrible 1-3 record since 2018. Now, the problem child didn't just end his verbal smackdown after dragging Conor through the mud. Nope, this guy went after the entire BKFC and set the stage on fire with his brutal words.
First of all, he's big upping the BKFC, but you're going to see what I'm going to do to their best fighter on Saturday night. I'm going to embarrass their whole entire league. This guy has no skill. Those are just brawler, idiot, street fighter dudes who have no idea what the sweet science is.
This Mike Perry versus Jake Paul was no short of drama and heated controversy, and fans believe we just got another fight out of it. I mean, the fight world has been rooting for Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor for quite some time now. Both the athletes are PPV superstars, so this fight's going to be huge. Now, Jake Paul's been throwing around this Conor McGregor fight like it's candy, but the Notorious is straight up ignoring him. And you know why? Because Conor's a real fighter. He's climbed the mountain and bled for his craft. He's faced the absolute best in the world. Jake Paul? He's a YouTuber turned boxer, let's be real. He's fighting retired MMA guys who are past their prime. It's a circus, a show. Conor's about legacy, about challenging himself against the best. Fighting Jake Paul is like stepping into a WWE ring. It's entertainment, not sport. McGregor wants real fights, the kind where every punch could be your last. He's not going to waste his time and risk his legacy on a guy who's more about social media clout than boxing skill. On the other hand, Jake believes that Conor is terrified of him. Yep, he believes that the Notorious has been ignoring his fight warnings because he's too scared Jake will knock him out cold in the ring. The problem child believes he's the one running this show now, not some washed-up MMA guy. Paul believes that Conor's been hiding behind excuses. Oh, I'm gonna fight this guy, then that guy. Big words, Jakey, don't you think? Well, this press conference truly was game-changing because it opened the talks for a new potential matchup. Oh, and did I tell you how Jake Paul has claimed that UFC President Dana White has offered Mike Perry a staggering reward if he knocks out the YouTube star? Ahead of the fight, the pair faced off for the final time in a press conference on July 18th. And after Paul shoved Perry following a heated exchange, he made a bold claim that Dana White has promised Perry a new UFC contract if he wins by knockout. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, he said, "He flew like 6 feet. But look, Dana White said that he's going to give him a UFC contract if he can knock me out. Well, guess what, Dana? You can rip up the contract because I'm gonna Mike Perry. Anyone you send at me, any one of your MMA fighters, is getting They've been trying to assassinate me. They don't want me in this sport. They hate that I run this sport, but when you try to assassinate a guy like me, it only makes me bigger." Mike Perry previously spent nearly 5 years fighting in the UFC between 2016 and 2021. In this time, he won 7 fights and lost another 8, with 4 of his wins coming via knockout. Since leaving the UFC, Perry signed for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, the organization co-owned by superstar Conor McGregor, where he maintains a perfect record of 5 wins and 0 losses. 3 of the 32-year-old's bare-knuckle victories have come via knockout, including his win over former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. Now let's not forget that after this Mike Perry hurdle, Jake's got a bigger fish to fry. Remember when we were all hyped for Jake Paul to face off against the legendary Mike Tyson? But unfortunately, Iron Mike had to pull out due to a serious ulcer flare-up. Can you believe it? That would have been a historic fight. But hey, boxing is a crazy sport, and these things happen. So, instead of Tyson, Jake's facing off against Mike Perry this weekend. It's a big fight in its own right, but the Tyson versus Paul showdown is now rescheduled for November 15th. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is not only going to be a clash of the eras, but it will be the biggest fight of Jake's career, where he won't just step into the ring with a seasoned pro. He's going to go after a freaking legend, the man who has bitten off ears in the ring before. Who knows? Maybe Conor McGregor will agree to put ink on paper if Jake comes out on top against Mike Tyson. I mean, a win against Iron Mike will surely do things for the athlete, and this might be one of the wonders. The beef is as real as it can be between Jake and Conor, so it's only fair they give fans an ultimate showdown now. Will you be watching? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So, there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What do you think about Conor McGregor crushing Jake Paul in a game-changing press conference? Fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.